Greetings everyone, this is Old Lexington on the 31st of March 2020, a Tuesday at about coming up for 10 AM. I've got an endeavour for Khitomer Vortex, so I figured I would record it and show off my Elachi Sheshar Command Dreadnought Cruiser. I've gone with a kind of theme-ish build on it, even though some people say it's much better as a torpedo boat. I decided to go theme. This ship is only available during an event. You would have to go to the Zen store, click on the items tab and buy some research and development boxes. And the event isn't active at the moment, but when it is active, these boxes have a chance of dropping some of the best ships in game. Sometimes the event comes in the form of a duty officer pack, where they can drop some of the best ships in game, but the events aren't active at the moment. But that's how you get this ship. You have to wait for an event and then try your luck at getting them. They're rather expensive ships because they tend to be the best ships in the game. Better than lobby store ships and lockbox ships. That's why they're so expensive. Anyway, this is my Elachi Sheshar, and let's have a look at the build. This cannon comes from the lobby store, and it's part of a 3-piece set that includes the Elachi cannon, a single cannon, the Elachi torpedo, and bio-neural infusion circuits, one of the best consoles in game. All from the lobby store. And because this cannon is a single cannon, I went with a single cannon turret build to match this cannon. It's part of a 3-piece set, so if we click on more details, you can see that for 2 pieces of the set I'll get an extra disruptor damage and shield capacity, and for 3 pieces of the set I'll get haywire charges. Haywire charges are like little green balls of energy that circle around my ship. You can't see them here at the moment in Earth orbit, but they're little green balls of energy that circle around my ship, and they have a 5% chance of reflecting one energy type attacked upon you back to the target with 100% shield penetration. So if the enemy attacks you with a specific energy type, you have a 5% chance of reflecting 50% of that energy back at the attacker with 100% shield penetration. That's what these haywire charges do. They reflect energy back at the attackers, their own energy. On a normal ship, you'd get 3 haywire charges circling your ship. On an Elachi ship, you'll get 6. You'll see those haywire charges when I go into combat. They'll be circling around the ship like little balls of green energy. I also put on from the Undying Reputation counter command, the heavy biomolecular disruptor turret, which has a 4.5% chance of reducing the enemy's flight speed and adding radiation damage to them. The same happens with the torpedo that goes with it, the biomolecular photon torpedo. This is part of these two weapons are part of a 4-piece set, so they come with 2 consoles as well. And they're disruptor energy, so they go nicely with the Elachi set. The 2 consoles, this one comes from a mission reward for added photon damage and radiation damage and disruptor damage. So that's 3 things I'm getting boosted that this ship does. I don't need the phaser damage. And the hydrodynamics compensator, that comes from the reputation, the counter command reputation. To complete the set, that gives me flight turn rate, and you need flight turn rate on this ship because it's like a brick. You need speed and turn rate to overcome its huge mass, because it's a huge ship. But it also increases, this console also increases accuracy, which helps with cannons. If I go to more details, for 2 pieces I'll get the bonus disruptor damage. For 3 pieces it boosts my turret's biomolecular abilities for radiation damage. And for 4 pieces I can debuff the enemy pretty well and remove debuffs from me. So I've gone with single cannons on the front and turrets on the back. Just a standard Elachi turret for the last weapon on the back. I haven't fully upgraded yet, it's a work in progress. I've gone with the colony deflector for extra crits and the colony warp core because why not, it's a good warp core. The Nukara 2-piece engine and shield from the Nukara reputation for the extra energy weapon damage. Two-piece, the dynamic power modulator redistribute. I'll get it right in a minute. The dynamic power redistribution modulator, DPRM, one of the best consoles in game because it gives you extra damage and extra damage resistance, and it pairs nicely with a torpedo console that gives me extra torpedo damage because I'm using 2 torpedoes. But also the 2-piece bonus of having these 2 consoles gives me additional disruptor damage. Also the Nausicaan console from one of the Echoes of Light, I believe it is, episode reward for extra disruptor damage. This comes from the Lobby store, weapon sensor enhancer for extra accuracy that helps my cannons. Tachyokinetic from the Lobby store for extra turn rate, because you really need the turn rate. That's why I put on Polaric Modulator as well from the episode Delta Flight for speed and turn rate. Because this ship is really quite like a brick when you fly it, unless you've got lots of flight speed and turn rate. And I wanted to make it a bit more manoeuvrable than it would normally be. Trillium D plating from Ragnarok episode, I believe, and it gives you extra shields and resistances. And finally, the console that comes with the ship that also gives me extra flight turn rate. However, this console, it's very similar. It allows a separation of your starship, similar to the Galaxy class starship that separates its saucer. This ship can separate as well. this whole bottom section can separate like a pet and become an assault craft. If we zoom out and we can press the button, there it goes. Now I've separated. My speed will be slightly better, so will my turn rate on my main section, the bit that I'm piloting, but its hull will be reduced and it won't be as survivable, but you get a nice pet to help you in combat. I believe there are a few bugs with the use of this pet, because sometimes when you launch it, it'll be attacking enemies, but you'll see it still attached. A second one attached to you, like the animation fails a bit. The craft is deployed, but it's attacking the enemy, but another one still appears on the bottom of your ship, as if you haven't launched it, even though you can see it flying around. It's a weird bug. It sort of like leaves itself behind while it flies off at the same time. I don't know if I'm explaining that quite right. You launch it and it flies away, but another one is left behind on the bottom of your ship. And I think it's just an animation bug. Let's attach it again. I heard there was also a bug with the Elachi torpedo as well, but I haven't noticed it myself. But then I don't tend to notice bugs when I'm having fun. I've also got Elachi pets on this ship that do beam overload attacks, torpedo attacks. And I replaced the ones that came with the ship with ones from the dilithium store. Excuse me. And I found they're pretty useful pets. They're not the best, but they're pretty useful. They're fun. They're like little shuttles that you deploy. My skills, same as always, tactical ultimate with a fair bit of engineering and flight speed. And the only thing I've got in science is accuracy. Sorry, long-range targeting sensors, which increases my weapon's strength when hitting enemies at distance. For specializations, I went with Command Primary because this is a command starship. That gives me extra survivability. And Pilot Secondary to help with the fact that this ship is a flying brick. But I haven't found it to be a flying brick with my build on it because I wanted to compensate for its brickiness. For traits, more cannons, more accuracy to help the cannons, and shield penetration. More torpedoes, even more torpedoes. This is a single target build, so I wanted to increase my high yield torpedoes, and there's a reason for wanting high yield instead of torpedo spread, which I'll get to. An engineering only tool that helps with weapon damage for engineers only. Hull repair, shield repair, hull capacity and shield capacity. And this is an engineering only tool, Grace Under Fire, which allows you to use miraculous repairs more often, which is also engineering only. And it's a hell of a good survivor. Miraculous repairs helps. That is what makes engineers such good survivors, and Grace Under Fire trait allows you to use miraculous repairs a lot more often. For starship traits, emergency weapon cycle to speed up my firing. I believe it comes from the battle cruiser, sometimes called the Arbiter. Torpedo barrage, that comes from this ship's mastery. And what it does is every time I fire a high yield torpedo, I'll get another free high yield torpedo as well. That's why most people say that this ship is a good torpedo boat, but I haven't got a torpedo boat on it myself. If you want to look at the details, you can pause the video and read it. Here I've got preferential targeting, and this explains why I have a tool over here, fire at will, on my keybind for beams, even though I'm not using beams. It's because every time I activate the fire at will tool, even though I've not got beams, it will still boost my cannon rapid fire. I could put cannon scatter volley instead, but then that would interfere with my rapid fire, because I'd only be able to use either scatter volley or rapid fire, not both at the same time. But with fire at will, I can use fire at will and rapid fire at the same time. Whereas if it was scatter volley, it would only be one or the other. It wouldn't be both, so I wouldn't get the benefit from this trait without it interfering with my cannons if I was to use scatter volley. It would interfere with my fire at will, so I use fire. It would interfere with my rapid fire, so I use fire at will instead. That way my rapid fire has not been interfered with, and I still get the boost from the trait. So clicking this tool, it doesn't do anything for my ship, but it does boost rapid fire, whereas scatter volley would boost rapid fire, but not at the same time, as it would reduce the amount of times I can click rapid fire about half. I'm not sure I'm explaining that very well, but if you read the trait, I'm sure you can understand why I do it. Why I've got fire at will on a cannon boat. I've also got supercharged weapons, so every time I fire a torpedo, I get a little boost to my energy weapons. And go for the kill comes from the Jem'Hadar strike ship, another R&D box ship that increases rapid fire duration, so I can rapid fire for longer. For my space reputation, more crits, more crits, more basic damage, armor penetration, and resistances. This trait's like a bit of armor, so it's pretty good. And active space reputation, I just went with all the starship ones, that the healing bubble, the anti-time bubble, the decoy, a nice cloak if you need it, and a tachyon lightning strike that changed to several targets. Sorry, not tachyon, tetryon. So this has given me a very good hull, 113,000. I've got good shield, 17,000. My shield regeneration rate isn't that great, but it's okay. Rather tanky on my resists. Good accuracy. So-so crit chance. and so-so crit severity. Great flight speed and great turn rate, considering this ship was a brick. Normally, because I put on lots of flight speed, including pilot specialization, and lots of turn rate to compensate for the fact that it's a brick, and also that I'm using cannon rapid fire, which is a limited firing arc, so I need to be able to turn and get to the enemy. For stations, put my best shields, tactical team to put my best shields between me and what I'm shooting at. Beta to debuff the enemy, rapid fire of course, fire at will to enhance rapid fire, and torpedo high yield to activate the trait that gives me another torpedo high yield for free. The trait that comes with the ship, torpedo barrage. For engineer, hull healing, trick the enemy into healing my shields with their energy weapons. Emergency power to weapons to enhance my energy weapons, and remodulation to make my weapons more energy efficient and to penetrate armor. I needed another engineering ability, so I just went with it. The Breen endothermic inhibitor beam, which comes from the winter event, I believe, and it freezes things. And it always just looks good. That's why it's just there, because it looks good. Excuse me. The command station is a science station, and I've put in science team to heal my shields, hazard emitters to make my hull stronger, and concentrate firepower to deal extra kinetic damage with my torpedoes. I can switch this out for any command ability that I want. I can put on overwhelm emitters for my energy weapons if I wanted to. I could just easily switch it out. So I have it here in case I want to change one of my command abilities to some other command ability. Nice and easily. I'm coughing, but I don't have it, so don't worry. It's just smoker's cough. What else could I say about this? Chekhov and Sulu, my two tactical officers, are Romulan operatives. Sorry, we go into their traits to see why we choose Romulan operatives from the embassy. The rare blue male officer bought from the Romulan embassy. Rare blue male tactical officer. Will give you bonus crits. And I've got 2 of them on this ship, so... And we buy the rare blue male officer from the embassy and then promote him to make him very rare. My engineer, that comes from completing one of your commendation schools and then visiting Admiral Quinn's office, where there's a guy that can give you a Nausicaan engineer who has pirate trait. Where is he? Let's have a look. Pirate trait for bonus damage. For my other engineer, I went with the holographic Lieutenant Uhura. She has leadership like all humans do. And technician, because it increases any weapon damage for both torpedoes and energy weapons. Pretty damn good. And of course, for my science officer, there's a Delta mission you can get him rewarded from. He is a hierarchy. And he has efficient warp core and pirate again. And now my duty officers. Roster. I've got added damage against Borg on a ground officer that's supposed to work in space as well. Neil Falconer. And for my active space officers, more crits, crit chance, crit severity, more efficient weapons, better cooldowns for my emergency powder weapons, damage control engineers. And this one, this is a ultra rare officer from the command specialization. Now it's not doing anything for my current build. At the moment it's just a placeholder, because it uses rally point marker and needs the many to give you bonuses, but I'm not using those command tools. I'm using concentrate firepower. So that's why this officer is just a placeholder, but it does give me the option to replace some of these science abilities or this concentrate firepower with a different command ability. And I can replace it with rally point marker, which is a good boost. I can replace one of these with rally point marker, which is a good boost, but you have to stay still within the rally point. And I built this ship for maneuverability and speed to counter its flying brickness, so I don't really want to stay still. I want to fly about and shoot things and turn my cannons onto targets easily. I could also use needs of the many to blast off my shields to help heal team shields. So this officer is just here as a placeholder at the moment, but it does give me the option to switch out and try other command abilities if I felt like it. The other two. So that's the reason for that, even though it doesn't make sense on the way the build currently is. But my builds never stay the same for long. So, that was a rather lengthy description for what will be a brief video, I believe. Let's see. 2,200 disrupted damage from the Crescent Wave Heavy single cannon. 1,400 from the unupgraded Elachi standard cannon. 8,000 kinetic from the Elachi torpedo. 1,400 again, and this is the upgraded single cannon, 1,600. The biomolecular, almost 1,000. 11,000 from the biomolecular torpedo. So that makes it better than the Elachi torpedo, I think. But I believe there might be a bug with the Elachi torpedo, but I haven't noticed anything. I'm just shooting it because it's fun. And a standard Elachi turret that hasn't been fully upgraded. I usually click the weapon system efficiency when I go into combat rather than the attract fire, because I don't want to be shot at. Although this ship is fairly tanky. And I launch my pets on attack. 123 over 100. I didn't bother increasing my shields because my hull's pretty damn good, and I didn't bother increasing my engines because I've compensated for this ship's brickiness. So I boosted my auxiliary to help with my torpedoes. Because I tend to find, for some reason, auxiliary helps my torpedoes better than standard weaponry. standard weapon power. Another annoying bug with this ship is these keep flickering back and forth. So that's about 3 different bugs I've figured. There's the torpedo bug, the icon bug, and the launching of your separation pet. But they're just small things that haven't really bothered me when I've been flying this ship. I've been thoroughly enjoying it, so I don't really need to complain about those bugs, because there's nothing really to complain about. They're just nitpicks, that's all. Anyway, I could do a few patrols, or I could just go straight into it. I think I'll do 1 patrol and then do my Khitomer Endeavour, and we'll see what happens. So I'll do one of the easy patrols at first. I'll do Wanted, which is our gala system, where we become a Bemphan, where we're deputized as a Bemphan security officer to fight whatever enemy turns up, whether it's the Kazon, the Hirogen, or the what are those ones that pollute things? We'll see. So we are on advanced difficulty, but this is a particularly easy map, much more easy than the other patrols. Basically the Bemphans will do most of the work. Nice and easy. I better turn down my volume a bit because I can't hear myself speak.
You have entered an area. You are now. Looks like our fight got them to
we're fighting the Kazon, and I've been deputized.
If their boss might come out of hiding.
These green things, that's the haywire charge I was talking about. If the enemy hits one of those, there's a 5% chance they will hit one of these, and it will reflect 50% of what they hit it with back at them with 100% shield penetration. I don't think there's an animation to go with it, but I suppose it's like a secondary shield with feedback pulse or something. If you'll notice these cannons, if we get a little closer, they're not just straight energy bolts. I think the animation isn't quite right here.
Keep concentrating fire on individual ships. Separate them.
But they're not just straight bolts of energy.
We will not go quietly.
They're crescents of energy. That's why they call them crescent wave weapons, because they fire crescents. I'm not flying properly at the moment, I'm just having a look at the ship, showing its survivability and its speed and turn rate. You can see hazard emitters is on my hull right now. That could be useful for keeping my hull strong. Turrets. I just wanted to see if I would launch a biomolecular torpedo, but I don't think I did. By having the counter command 4-piece on, I get this special firing mode for my rear turret, and turrets have a 360-degree firing arc, so you can activate it at any time regardless of which way you're facing the enemy. I'll activate it in a minute. There, now it should enhance that turret. And it does work. I do feel like things die quicker when I've got the turret enhanced. Now we freeze him. As you can see, he's turned a little white. Endothermic. Makes it easier to kill him because his hull is fragile since it's frozen. Right, let's pick a target and concentrate firepower for the torpedoes. See if we launch a torpedo yet. Maybe on the next target. I'm not. There's a Elachi torpedo. There it is. Hang on. Let's turn away. See what it does. Yep, it's working. The Elachi torpedo works, but it can easily be shot down, I believe.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency.
Or it might not always work.
Spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance.
See my haywire charges going? I can get up to 6 of them on this ship, whereas if I wasn't using an Elachi ship, I'd only get 3. Enhanced by a molecular high yield.
I'm taking you with me.
If I'm going to stick with this concentrate firepower, I will put it on my keybind at some point. Tetrion Blast. I've got all of them. And I haven't really been healing my shields much because my hull's good enough for this particular patrol. Now I say that, I'm going to need to. Let's try a separation. Little animation glitch with the separation. But there's my pets deployed. I'm going to try and fly away and see what that pet does. Have to keep myself alive a bit. Maybe I need a target to tell the pet what to shoot at. Yep, he's shooting beams. Probably beam overloads as well. Let's see if we can give him a better target. Go on, out attack. He doesn't seem to want to attack. Ah, I'm out of range. There go. You might be able to see my pets attacking at some point. Yep, there's one. There they are over there. My shuttles. Where's my Elachi pet gone? Where is he? My assault club. There it is. Yep, it's engaging pretty well. But let's end out this patrol now. Would help if I was able... Hang on, am I getting an internet glitch? Because I wasn't able to target it just then.
Excellent work. We'll send over a pacification party and take the suspect into custody. Thank you for your assistance, and welcome to this sector.
Right, now we can reattach the pet, although we don't really have to when we're warping out. I just want to see it. Haywire charges in full effect, and now they're gone. And I didn't even remember to click this. Or this, the command clicky. Command specialization clicky. I didn't click half the abilities there. I didn't even click this one. But that was a nice little warm-up to get me ready for my Khitomer Vortex.
Thank you for your assistance, and welcome to...
Okay. Bit of a sloppy run just to show off some of the ship's abilities. That was. So now let's queue for Khitomer Vortex. It should pop pretty quickly because it's a universal endeavour. Where is it? There it is. And it's on advanced difficulty, of course. I haven't dabbled too much with elite difficulty. And there we go, it's popped pretty quick. And you can't really get a queue for elite difficulty all that often. And you should bear in mind when I'm with this ship, I still haven't spent any endeavour points. I've been saving them. So I'm not getting boosted by endeavours. Because I haven't spent the points yet. I've just been collecting them, and I will spend them one day when I get the time. But just lately I've been leveling other characters. That's why I haven't put videos out very often. Just lately.
Along with a stable spatial rift, which is
I've been too busy leveling up other characters. Anyway, here we are, Khitomer Vortex. This should complete the endeavour. Looks like somebody's got, is that a Cronus engineering ship? That looks like, is that a Sovereign or an Odyssey? I can't see from here. It's hard to tell. That's the Fakiri ship, nice one.
From this time forward, your culture will adapt to service ours.
I used to use the Kobayashi Maru quite a lot on my builds, but I found that its visual noise and the audio noise was too much. It gives you damn good boosts, but it comes at the price of visual noise and audio noise, visual disruptions and audio noise. It just breaks my immersion. Even though it's worth having. Same as that Beacon of Kalos breaks immersion. It looks like there's a good team coming doing this today. It usually is during endeavours. So I don't really have to worry that much. Do you know, these nanite generators, since the update to these 4 missions, I've found that they're much easier to target. Oh, I forgot, the cube's already arrived. You only have to kill 2 of those generators to get the cube to appear. That shows how tanky this ship is, you don't even notice a cube turn up. Get out my way, Sphere. Hey, Sphere, you started it. Let's not ruin the optional for everybody and get these things. I keep forgetting to click my abilities this morning. For some reason. Come on, Torpedo, hit it. That Klingon general, whatever he is, he says... He calls the battle like Odo calls it. He doesn't watch the battle, he just says things are approaching the time vortex when they're actually not. Reverse. I tried to click reverse, but it didn't click. It did now. Boost morale, boost weapons. Now we can stop here. This is where I put out rally point marker because it's useful in kit, but I'm not using it at the moment on the build. Hopefully I can finish this off before they reach the vortex. The other side seems to be doing pretty well. There we go. I soloed half the side.
More probes are approaching the time vortex.
Now might be a good time to separate. Increase my speed.
Capabilities are unable to withstand us. Lower your shields and await assimilation.
More probes are approaching the time vortex.
Wow, that worked. Somebody helped me out as well because I left it a bit late. Because I used evasive maneuvers to get to those probes after leaving it too late. I didn't have it to cross over to this transformer. My piloting is terrible today. Survivability is not a problem in this ship. Oops, tried to take loot and put up the window instead. Yeah, just hit miraculous repairs once in a while with this build and you're fine. Now I can stop here and unleash hell. Yeah, he's going down pretty fast. Endothermic doesn't work against these. It works against the gate, but not against the transformers. Let's get around here so we might be able to hit some of them targets as well. But I think this team's pretty good in taking care of them pretty well. Yeah, just spam that space bar. I haven't even needed to put up the healing bubble. Biomolecular bubble. I'm going to reconnect.
We're picking up some strength. They know the run.
Reconnect my pet.
Disarm your weapons. You will escort us.
I don't know why, I just felt like reconnecting him.
Assimilating your culture and technology.
Pay attention. I have been suffering a bit of internet problems just lately. I'm going to have to contact my service provider about that because I don't think it's anything to do with me. do want to get some shots off at Denatra. Ah, I froze Denatra. Frozen her. And I don't care about staying out of 5 kilometers anymore because no one seems to know that rule. So she'll cloak anyway. Because nobody seems to respect the 5 kilometer rule, so what the hell. And I don't think it applies anymore since the update of this anyway. Wow, that was something. Somebody did something. Some science guy. Come on, Denatra, I want to shoot you some more. I would only respect the 5 kilometer rule about staying away from Denatra if everybody else was. Otherwise, what's the point? So that's not a big issue anyway. Doesn't really change anything, just makes her cloak, that's all. Impatient people that don't want to wait for her to come out of cloak are the ones that moan. Anyway, that's it, my endeavour is done.
The scimitar has been destroyed, but sensors detected several escape pods entering the vortex.
Scoring. Borg probes used time box. One got through. That wasn't on my side. That was on the other side. That's probably why the guy came over to help me, because he was already there killing something.
The scimitar has been destroyed, but sensors detected several escape pods entering the...
Anyway, I think that was pretty okay. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy flying this ship. This ship is much more enjoyable when you've got the speed and turn rate added in like I've done. Now, I have done an ISA with it, although the numbers don't really count these days anymore. But it's a good average is around 50k. But I'm not going to do that right now because saying in ISA you can do 50k is pretty meaningless these days, since they have Elite now as well, an ISE. And who gives a crap about DPS anymore anyway, it's old hat. It's more about building for fun than anything else. So there you have it. Elachi, Sheshar Command, Dreadnought, Cruiser, Tier 6, on an Engineer, with a Themish build, semi-Themish build, doing Khitomer Vortex Advanced. Thanks for watching. Have a pleasant day. And wash your hands. Not that you need to be told, because you do it anyway, but still. Until next time, bye.